We step into the world of big dreams, big moves, and big money. It's the Big Cheese Miami Recruiting and NIL Report with Manny Navarro. After 40 years, the Big Cheese remains dedicated to serving the finest Italian dinners, pizza, pasta, subs, and salads. All of their pasta is imported from Italy and cooked fresh every day. Visit BigCheeseMiami.com. Now, let's find out who's the Big Cheese the Miami Hurricanes are working on with insider Manny Navarro.
All right. Who is the Big Cheeses? Because, you know, when you go to the Big Cheese, you're just not going to have one cheese. You're going to have all kinds of cheeses. And so that's exactly what the Canes are doing. And, of course, Mario Cristobal. They've got USF in town. They've done the recruit thing on the road and at home. What's the scene setter for tomorrow with the recruits, Manny?
Well, you're going to have a bunch of guys coming down to watch them again. This is what happens when you become a top 10 ranked team, right? More people want to come be around your program. They want to start buying in. We talked about this in the preseason, how important it was for Mario to get off to a good start. And when you go on the road to an SEC team like Florida and blow the Gators out in the swamp, embarrass them, clown them really as you're walking off the field by talking to the recruits that are there.
You hearing that, Frankie? Huh? You hearing that, Frankie? I'm sorry, go ahead.
When you clown the Gators in their own house, well, guess what? There's a lot of recruits that suddenly start looking at you with a little bit more stars in their eyes, right? A little more in love. So they're getting a big-time recruit this weekend to come down. Elijah Griffin, kid out of Savannah, Georgia, 5-star defensive lineman, number 8 overall player in the composite rankings. Number 1 defensive lineman in the country, 6'5", 285 pounds. Everybody thinks he's going to Georgia, because he is a Georgia kid, and that's who Georgia always gets. Right. But the fact that he is going to be here for a game is a victory for Miami, because we know Miami's NIL pays well. We know that they are, when they go after top 10 guys like Justin Scott and Francis Mauigoa, they've been able to get them. So this is an encouraging sign that Elijah Griffin is actually going to be here for the Ball State game. Now, look, I'm not saying Miami's going to get Elijah Griffin, but the fact that he's coming is a show of progress for Mario and the program, because you need to keep stacking and keep stacking and keep stacking. And when you at least got kids that are supposedly going somewhere else for sure to come visit your school, that's a good sign.
Yeah, keep winning, and you'll be able to keep stacking. Now, will Elijah also get get to peruse the campus also?
I'm not sure. He a lot of these kids, you got to remember, they're playing games themselves, right? They're in the middle of their season. So a lot of these guys end up jumping on a plane Saturday morning or even late Friday night after they finish, and they fly into town and they come and they participate as part of the game day.
The only reason I say that, it's because you're coming to town for the last 2 weeks for 2 shitty games. You're not going to have great crowds. You're not going to have that kind of atmosphere that you will have for maybe Florida State or a bigger game in the ACC or something like that you'll get a bigger crowd. And so do you impress them by at least taking them to the campus and show them, how kick-ass the campus is? That's why I wonder. Or, again, here's out of pure ignorance here on my part, maybe it's illegal. Maybe they can't even be on campus. Maybe they can make a visit to the game, but they're not allowed on campus. I have no idea what the rules are.
You can make unofficial visits as many times as you want. It's a matter of, do you get caught paying for that trip, right? Do you get caught paying for? It's all about money, right? How much does the university spend? I think obviously everybody in college football does some things around the edges, right? So I think to say Elijah Griffin won't be on campus, I can't say he won't.
Right.
Is it against the rules? If it's an unofficial visit, sure. And this is an unofficial visit, so but that doesn't mean he can't go down there on his own dollar and visit campus.
Okay. All right. Okay. That's good to know. Also, talk to us about some of the players they have flipped. What do we know?
Well, they're trying to flip a bunch of different guys. I think, obviously one of them is the defensive back out of Zephyr Hills, DJ Pickett. He was at the game last week against FAMU, was at the Florida game as well. I think they're going to try to get him back for the to the Florida State game in October to come back on campus. DJ Pickett's cousin signed with Miami last year. Booker Pickett, the edge rusher, top 100 recruit, and Pickett's uncle played for Miami. So they're trying to flip several guys, but I would say DJ Pickett is absolutely number one, high up on the board for Miami in terms of guys that they want to impress here. Derry Norris, a defensive lineman from Georgia. He's only a 3-star according to the composite rankings, but he's a guy who's been committed to Georgia Tech since June. He's somebody that Miami was really, really interested in and excited about. They really wanted, to get him when he committed in June. He ended up committing to Georgia Tech, but he will be down here this weekend as well. There's a lot of different guys. I'm going through my list here. Derry Norris, TJ Alford, linebacker commitment to Ohio State, was here last week. Solomon Thomas is a 5-star offensive lineman out of the Jacksonville area. He was, he's somebody that Miami's been very high on from the get-go. I think as Florida State struggles, he's been a Florida State commitment for a year now. I think as FSU continues to struggle and Miami does well, he's potentially somebody that they could flip. So there's a long list. They got, 21 guys committed at the moment. They're the 12th ranked class, but I think, the way this season is trending, they win the ACC championship, get into the 12-team playoff. Come December, there's going to be a lot of guys wanting in on to be in Miami's recruiting class.
It's nice to, it's nice to hear that it looks like it's finally. I know that we need to see the wins against the ACC teams coming up and all that to kind of like put a bow on it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But you kind of knew that all this other stuff Mario had down tight. But he wasn't going to be able to take the recruiting to the next level until you start winning those games. And beating the Gators in the swamp really sent a message now. Man, can you imagine if they're able to, run the table pretty much or win most of your games that are left? I mean, I know technically you should pretty much win all the games that are left considering who you are. But let's just say you're human beings. You might lose a game, but okay. That really, man, by the end of the year, and you have some success in a bowl game or the playoffs, that is, dude, next year, my God, the recruiting stuff is going to go just freaking through the roof, man.
It really is. And look, he signed the 7th ranked class and the 4th ranked class. And all of those guys, I mean, they've had 16 freshmen get into a true freshman, get into a game so far. That doesn't include Markel Bell, the JUCO kid who started at left tackle, for Jalen Rivers last week. So the one thing they can show all these recruits when you're blowing people out is, hey, you're not just going to come here and develop. We're actually going to get you into games. And the way things are now in college football, you need to get guys into games. It helps develop, especially if you're going to play a 16-game schedule. If you're trying to make it to the national championship, you need as much depth as possible. So to me, everything has gone according to plan so far. They couldn't have gone any better so far the way it's gone for Miami. You've played all the freshmen, you're relatively healthy, and you're going into another game where you should blow out an opponent, and there's a bunch of recruits that want to be here to see it.
Yep. Now let's go. I mean, somehow or another, they seem to give Alabama fits. So that's a good thing for Mario because he can play the tape for 2 years in a row going, you see these guys in 2 weeks from now, USF, when you play them, they give you fits. So watch out. Ball State, okay, you're supposed to play them, blow them out. But it's good to have some of that stuff because that's going to help you for some of these kind of games. And, like this week, you started the interview with that, or the other interview is – let's see how you handle this and you handle success and people blowing smoke up your ass and all that kind of stuff. But something tells me we're not going to see idiots dancing on the sidelines when things are bad or something. Hell, I don't even think you'll see guys dancing when they're winning.
Yeah, and I think the best part about it is you have a quarterback in Cam Ward who cares about all that stuff, right? Like he wants you to have fun, but at the same time, if you're not playing well, he's going to hold you accountable. He'll call you out for your BS. So I think that's super important to have that kind of a leader at your quarterback position.
Big time.
It's going to rub off. This is the year, man. This is the year for Miami.
Thank God, because it ain't the year for the Miami Dolphins. That's for damn sure. Follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro. And, of course, visit our friends at the Big Cheese, 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue. And go get some Italian poppers and the chicken fingers and the fried shrimp jumbo and all kinds of stuff that they've got going on. The Miami Slice, the Big Cheese Hawaiian. My dad, rest in peace, would love that one. Maybe Tua can go down and have a little bit of the Big Cheese Hawaii. Now that he's going to have some time off, he can go visit the Big Cheese Miami. Manny, as always, thank you, my brother. Have a fantastic weekend. Enjoy the football. We'll catch up on Tuesday.
Sounds good, brother. Take care.
Thank you. There you go. The great Manny Navarro and our Big Cheese NIL and recruiting segment.
You've been listening to the Big Cheese Miami Recruiting and NIL Report with Manny Navarro. At the Big Cheese Miami, they continue to purchase the same high-quality ingredients that the most expensive Italian restaurants use. The difference is they serve large portions at a family price. Visit the Big Cheese at 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue in Miami. Call 305-662-6855 or go to thebigcheesemiami.com. Go Canes!
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.